Mm.
Life is about moments. Some are great, some are not so great, but everybody has moments in their lives that they specifically remember. I remember this moment, and I can repeat it 1,000 times as I do. I looked into the laundry room, and I saw this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, buckle up for what will be a legendary Impact show today. My guest is none other than a man named Jake Steinfeld. Now, if you're like right now, I know that name, Jake Steinfeld. Who is that? Have you ever heard of Body by Jake? Body by Jake. Well, if you have not, well, that means you're probably younger than 30, because if you are 30 plus, you have seen him on TV, no doubt, since the mid-1980s, all the way through even recently. Body by Jake. Jake Steinfeld has been an icon and a legend. Matter of fact, he is considered the father of personal training. And folks, today I have him live. Yes, I have him live. And it was such an amazing conversation, actually surreal. Surreal because I grew up when in the 80s, I was in high school and I was watching Jake on TV do his thing. And to see him now, this brother's still yoked up, still looks great, still training hard and going harder than ever before. And he is on a mission to change more lives as well. So, man, the mentee today, me, gets to interview someone who I've looked up to for many years and has allowed me and many other trainers to do what we do. So for a proper introduction, Jake, Body by Jake Steinfeld, has been an inventor, an innovator, an entrepreneur since creating the personal fitness training industry. He established Body by Jake in 1980 to develop merchandise, programming, partnerships, and other multimedia endeavors, all promoting the benefits of healthy living and the motivation to get there. Jake also created Fit TV, America's first 24-hour fitness lifestyle television network, which he sold to News Corp. Jake launched Exercise TV, the first on-demand fitness television network in partnership with Comcast, New Balance, and Time Warner. He's also the founder of Major League Lacrosse and the World Series of Youth Lacrosse. Jake was chosen to be an official torchbearer to carry the inspirational flame for the 2012 Olympic Games in London, England, and has proudly served as honorary mayor of Pacific Palisades, California. Jake just came out recently with what's called Don't Quit, a first-of-its-kind daily nutrition shake and meal supplement. My friends, today you are in for a real treat. He's a legend. He's an icon. Without further ado, Jake, Body by Jake Steinfeld. Folks, you just heard the introduction, but now live, we've got the man, the living legend, Jake Steinfeld is in us. Body by Jake. Jake, welcome to the Impact Show, brother.
Todd, how you doing, man? I love the energy. You're ready to rock and roll. Let's go. I tell you what, you better put the seatbelt on. This is gonna be a wild ride.
Hey, we got a Jersey guy and a New York guy. We're gonna be lighting up the airwaves today on the podcast. You know what? Before we get started, Jake, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what the heck you've done for this industry. 40 plus years of serving since what, 1980. Folks, if you don't know Body by Jake, that means you're probably so young that you weren't watching TV. And I grew up watching Body by Jake, and now in the tender age of you're what, 60, 62, something like that now?
I'm 62, man. 62, baby.
And you look
What,
awesome.
though? You're a good man. 62, but feeling like I'm still 21, doctor.
Hey, you look like it, folks. If you're out for your walk right now, you're walking the dog, you're working out, you're gonna pick it up today to at least a jog or a run, because Jake sounds great, looks great, is great, and he's got some huge things that he's talking about. But you know, when you think about this, the father of personal training, 1980. You think about that, a 40 plus year career, guys. I'm just 20 plus years in my career. I'm thinking, man, I'm only halfway there, Jake, to get to where you're at. Right?
You're doing great, though, Todd. Well, you're doing great, man.
Thank you. Tell me how this all happened, man. Like, go back, the father of personal training. How did all this happen to where you are now, sitting with the impact and legacy you've created? How did this all start up, man?
Well, listen, first of all, it's great to see what you've been able to accomplish in your career and your life, brother, and that's important. The people that you inspire, that you impact on a daily basis, I think we need more Todd Durkins of the world, you know,
Thanks,
especially
Jake.
during this time right now. But I'll take you back. I'll tell you a little story. I know you have thousands of people who listen, who watch, who are inspired every day by you. And hopefully they'll listen to my words too. And they'll, as you said, pick up the pace a little bit if they're walking slow or if they're sitting down, get up and do a little something. But I'll take you back. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I was an overweight kid. I had a really bad stutter growing up. So it was very difficult for me in school. The toughest part about my schooling was the fact that when a teacher would say, okay, we're going to take a paragraph, everybody, and we're going to read out loud, I would rather jump off the Empire State Building and think I would probably survive that as opposed to standing up in third grade or fourth grade. Now I could read, Todd. I just, with a stutter, man, you know, D's and B's and T's. And if you understand stuttering, it is debilitating, man. And it was one of those things where I always had friends, but I was shy because of the fact that I could not, I was an overweight kid. I couldn't even get on the phone to order a pizza. Let's just put it that way. And at 13 years old, my dad bought me a set of weights, and it changed my life. It was a pretty funny story. He calls me out into the backyard. He had this weight bench set up, and I had my Twinkies in my hands, and you know, he looked at me. He says, "Come on, let's do some bench pressing." And I wasn't interested in it. And I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And my dad was a guy who would ask you to do something once, and then he'd stop. Left the weights there all summer, never touched it. As a New Yorker, and you know you're a Jersey guy, I'm the oldest, so I lived in the basement, the coolest place to live.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
You know, and I'm just going to give you a little picture, a little color, especially for all your followers and listeners out there, right? So my room looked kind of like this. I had the black light posters, right? I had black light, the little stars on the ceiling, right? I had Jimi Hendrix poster on one wall. I had an Alice Cooper poster on the other wall, man. And by the way, you know, I had this afro too, man. I had this afro, and I had braces. It was a great look. It was a really great look.
The
1972.
80s. Oh, 70. All right.
Oh, baby, come on, man.
Oh, so you were 13 at that. Okay, so 72. I was just about born.
Yeah. Yeah, easy does it, big dog. Easy does it. Easy does it, big dog. And I'm sitting at my little desk, and I'm, you know, school was never my thing, and I'm trying to figure out what, you know, the teacher says highlight the most important things, and I'm highlighting everything. And for whatever the reason was, when my father had asked me to bring the weights in the house, I put them in the laundry room, and the laundry room was right off of my bedroom. And man, if I didn't look at that laundry room 2,000 times, I looked at it 10,000 times. Whatever the reason, that night, that moment, I'm a big believer in life is about moments. Life is about moments. Some are great, some are not so great, but everybody has moments in their lives that they specifically remember. I remember this moment, and I can repeat it 1,000 times as I do. I looked into the laundry room, and I saw this Easy Curl bar, which my dad had got, right? You know, and it was kind of sticking out. And for whatever the reason was, I got up, I walked into the laundry room. I get the chills when I tell the story, to this day. I bring the Easy Curl bar into my bedroom. I had this ottoman. I put it on the ottoman. I had this little skinny mirror behind my door. I put the mirror on top of the ottoman. I used to love to listen to Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. True story. At the end of Frank's album, right, on the record player, there's this 10 seconds of wild applause for Frank Sinatra. Don't ask me what happened, but here's what happened, man. I put the cans on my head, right? I had my tank top with my stomach hanging over my underpants, man. And I started looking in the mirror, and I queued up the applause for Frank, and I'm looking in the mirror, and here I was, Jake Steinfeld, doing his bicep curls in front of 50,000 screaming fans at Madison Square Garden. And Todd, that's where it all began, man. Because not only did the weights start to build my body, but it built my confidence and my self-esteem. And now I'm standing up a little bit straight. I'm feeling good. You know what it's like. If people know what it's like, man, when you start training, you start exercising, and you start feeling good, it's the confidence and self-esteem that kicks in,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the body changes, but the confidence and self-esteem. And when you get that confidence and self-esteem, whether you're 13 or 30 or 60 or 90, man, when you feel good about yourself, you can achieve anything you want in your life.
Amen. Preach it. It's funny for all you East Coasters out there growing up. It's funny when you're telling your story. I'm thinking of my friend Bobby Wood had that weight bench down in his basement. Always in a basement. And we're having like max bench press. Like
That's
started with
it.
it's it, and we're just down there like
the weights
exactly. We're tipping the weights.
The weight sliding off the side.
Oh, it was like the plant. I can still see it. I can still smell the basement and everything.
It's the best. It's the best.
Jake, I've read a story about you, and it was probably about the same time frame, 13 years old or so. You were cut from your 8th grade basketball team. Was that prior? Man. Was that prior to or after the fact?
No, that was after. So I'm starting to feel good. Girls start to recognize now you're not, you're not the chubby kid, and so I decide I'm going to go out for my 8th grade basketball team. And man, Todd, I was a damn good basketball player because, my mom said, honey, you're a great basketball player. And I decided that I was going to go out for the team. I go out for the team, I get cut. First time that I stepped out, and think about it, man, everyone who listens, the first time you step out on your own, to take that shot, to take a chance. And in life, you have to take shots. And, we'll talk about entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur. And in life, man, you have to fail because failure is not death, right? Death is death. Failure, you get knocked down, get your ass back up, and you get stronger. You truly do. And I've lived my life that way. But that moment, once again, another moment, I get cut. Embarrassing, my friends. I go to the wall to the gym. They're way before iPhones and computers. So the coach would put the names of the guys on the team on a piece of paper, brother.
That's right. On
the gym wall. And I went with 3 or 4 guys who all made it, and my name wasn't there. And this friend of mine gave me a poem, true story, called Don't Quit. And I'm 14. Come on, man. And I wasn't a poetry major. Let's just put it that way. And I'm looking at it like, what's this going to do for me? And I went home and I read it. And I read it again. And Todd, I'm telling you, that poem became my life. And the last 2 lines of the poem, and I could recite it by heart, but the last 2 lines of the poem are, stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. And that poem became like a Bible verse to me. And in 1981, I ended up trademarking those words, don't quit. And because those words meant so much to me. But I'm going to take you back again because now I'm training. By the way, I made the team in 9th grade, the basketball team in 9th grade. I got heavily into the weights. I love working out. School was still never my deal. And I had this dream. I'm going to California. I want to become Mr. America. That was it, Todd. That was all I wanted to do. And I went to college, upstate New York, Cornell University.
Sure, of course.
Good one, right? I went to Cortland down the street.
I know Cortland as well.
Right. A good D3 school, right?
Yep.
And I got in to play the sport of lacrosse. I wasn't very good at lacrosse. I don't know what happened, but I was a face-off guy, and I got lucky. Let's just put it that way. And it's another moment. I'm standing on the sideline, October 1977, right? And we're scrimmaging Syracuse at Syracuse, and I'm a face-off guy. And it's kind of hailing, right? And I come out after I faced off, and I'm standing there, and I'm becoming like this lacrosse ice sculpture. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? There's no such thing as professional lacrosse, and I can't be a bodybuilder. It's not too conducive to walk around in your gold lame posing trunks and 18 inches of snow. I said, this is it. I'm going to go to California. And it was that moment, that October. I get back to my dorm. My mom had called to check in to see how things were going. And I finally got up enough courage to tell her what the dream was. And, we're going to stop for a second because, when you have a dream, and I know you dream and you've done success, have success in your life, but we all have dreams and you never stop dreaming. But it's interesting. A lot of people, don't share those dreams because they're either afraid of success, afraid of failure, or afraid to hear what someone is going to say. And sometimes it's the people closest to you that become the most negative, only because of a couple of reasons. One, your family, maybe they don't want to see you get hurt. Friends, because, oh, geez, man, if Todd gets successful, man, that means there's not enough success for me. So, I'm going to see if I can keep him down here. And you learn that there's plenty of success to go around for everybody. So this phone call, my mom calls to check in about poli-sci and English. And I said, Mom, I'm going to go to California to become a bodybuilder. And silence on the phone, Todd. And all of a sudden I hear, Herbie, which is my dad's name, pick up the phone, talk to your kid. I'm putting my head in the oven. And it was, the reason being is I was the first one in the entire family. My mother and father never went to school. Their families never went to college. I was the first one to go to college. And here I was, 2 younger brothers and a little sister. And I'm going to leave. And I had this mission. The bus ride from upstate New York to Baldwin, Long Island, was the longest bus ride of my life. And I remember my father saying, look, get it out of your system. Go to LA and do what you got to do, which I did. And I made that move. He gave me enough money to lease a car. Wow. I had an apartment in Northridge, right? Because they had friends who said the Valley. And I had this white 1977 Camaro, right?
Ooh, of course.
With Jake 77 on the license plate. I always kept a very low profile. That's an important rule as an entrepreneur. Low profile, And I used to drive over the hill from Northridge to Santa Monica, to Venice, to train at Gold's Gym. And then I went to World Gym, which Joe Gold had sold his name to a guy named Ken Sprague, right? And Joe opened up World Gym on Main Street, 2nd floor. And this is where, when I tell people when the dinosaurs still roam the earth, man, Arnold and Louis and Robbie Robertson and all the Roger Khaled, all the guys
Icons
from Pump and Iron.
Yeah.
Right? All the guys from Pump and Iron were in the gym, man. I had these guys up on my wall, and now they're here. I entered the Mr. Southern California contest, right? I come in 2nd place. Guy that beats me was on steroids. Yeah. Now, 1978, true story. I read all the muscle magazines, Todd. Every muscle magazine said he'd 18 eggs, 24 chickens a day, and you too could become Mr. America. Man, I clucked a lot, but it never happened for me. Nobody ever mentioned steroids. Now, and this, once again, I speak from the heart and the truth. I've been doing this for 42 years. So, my story is real and righteous. The reason why I never took steroids was because I was afraid to. That was the reason. Remember in 4th and 5th grade, you're a bit younger than me, but in school, the nurse would give you a TB test. Those little 4-prong things they would hit you with. Right? Yep. The little boop. I'd faint at that. There was no way I was putting a needle in my own battissimo. Let me just say.
Battissimo, you go. I love
it. and I had to but it's the truth. I had to make a decision at 19 years old. I left my friends. I left my family. I left a girlfriend. I left school. Here I was pursuing a dream to become Mr. America. And I had to say to myself, what do I do? And as I teach my kids, I have 4 kids. I've been married going on 32 years. My wife, Tracy, now. We have 4 great kids. My daughter's 28 on Friday. A 26-year-old son, a 21-year-old son, a 19-year-old son.
Wow.
And when I talk to them, we talk about decision-making, and I think you would agree, and all the folks who listen would probably agree. If you have to think about something too long, if you have to decide where something takes too long, probably something you shouldn't be doing. And I made that decision to say, okay, I'm not going to be Mr. America. It's not going to happen for me. I love working out. I love what it does for me. I love how I feel. I'm not going back to New York a loser. And it was a loser in my own mind, right? It was me, right? I had the courage enough to take the shot to leave, to come to LA by myself. I didn't know a soul, man.
Wow.
But here I was with this moment, and I said, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay here because I love working out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going back to college, man, because that's not my deal. Right place, right time, right moment. I was living in Studio City, California, sitting out. I was bouncing in a bar at night and catching rays during, as every good musclehead does, man, catching rays after you're done in the gym. And then you go to work at night. And this actress had come over to me at the apartment complex in Studio City. And, I recognized her. I knew her. We said hi a little bit. She says, Jake, I see you here all the time. I got a question. I got a Club Med commercial that I have to do. I got 6 weeks to get in shape. Could you help me? And by the way, Todd, she looked great. I think what it was, her confidence. She had to wear a bikini, and there were going to be a lot of people around, and she wanted some help. And I said, yeah, sure. She goes, look, I like you, but I don't want to look like you, and this was 1979. Wow. So Jane Fonda had just come on the scene, right? Jane just started with the high impact aerobics. At that point in time, women were very intimidated by using weights because they thought they were going to get big muscles, right?
Right.
And I decided, okay, let me come up with something. And she said, could you come to my boyfriend's house and do the workout there? And I said, okay, sure. She goes, how much is it going to cost? I go, give me gas money for my 1977 white Camaro. I mean, come on, man. I had no idea, right? So
this is a good story.
I came up with this 30-minute workout because, listen, I love training, but I was never a guy. I never hung around the gym. I used to I get the work in, and I would get out. Yeah. And she seemed like a person that had an A-type personality. The thing I also understood too: exercise is boring, man. It's boring. If it wasn't, everybody would be in great shape. You and I would be, who knows what we'd be doing. You know what I mean? Bouncing in a bar of Van Nuys together, right? But the thing being is you have to find something that you enjoy and make it a part of your lifestyle. So I thought, let me come up with something. It was a 30-minute workout. And what I did is I improvised with a broomstick, a towel for resistance training, right? Instead of me handing you or your wife 2 10-pound dumbbells, I used a towel, right? And when I would pull down, and I'd say, Todd, you pull up, I'm going to pull down.
That's right.
Put a whole lot more resistance on that. But psychologically, it's a bath towel. Or 2 cans of Mama's tomato paste, side laterals, right? And a chair. You know how many exercises you can do with a chair or 2. And I put it together. I drove to Beverly Hills, knocked on the door of, her boyfriend was staying at this other person's house. Guy answers the door. And if you weren't on the cover of Musclehead Digest, man, I don't know who you were. Turns out to be Francis Ford Coppola. Jeez. And I just looked at the guy and I thought, hey, this dude could use a workout too, And I started training this girl, and they started going to parties, and people started saying, you look great. What are you doing? This guy, Jake, comes to the house. He's got a broomstick, a towel, and a chair. He's funny. He eats too much because they had a great fridge, man. Todd, they had a great fridge, and I had no dough. And I would sit and stay and eat chicken or turkey, whatever they had, man. And, wow. And here was the thing. People started saying, what a great idea. What's his number? Well, I went from upstate New York to LA. I never listed my phone number. There were no cell phones, right?
Exactly.
You had to list your phone number in the phone book in order for people to find you.
Yeah, that's right.
I never did. And because you're in San Diego, you do a lot of work in LA. Hollywood's an interesting town. If you're good and people want to get a hold of you and they can't, they seem to want you more. And it became this mystique of, who is this guy? You got to get him. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting phone calls from people like Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford and Priscilla Presley and Bette Midler, Warren Beatty, the heads of all the studios. I'm traveling around the world. Steve Ross, who put Time and Warner together, became my godfather. And, it was a moment in time. And I bring up these people's names because I learned the greatest lesson of all. They're no different than you and me. The only difference is they had a dream and never quit on their dream and never took no for an answer. And that gave me all the incentive in the world to say to myself, wait a second, I might never direct ET2, but I'm going to have my own success in life. And I was able to parlay that famous by association into videos and books and television shows. Ted Turner gave me my start doing television in 1981, doing the fitness break on cable news network. Right, I was training Hugh Hefner. I asked him, can I use some of the Playmates? I had Spielberg's house, Broad Beach. Ted gave me 40 grand to shoot 200 1-minute vignettes. 60 seconds. Think about today. 60 seconds is considered long form programming, right?
Yeah.
And I shot these fitness breaks with all these Playmates, and it ran 3 times a day here in the States, and 10 or 12 times an hour everywhere else in the world, because he used my stuff as filler, because he had no advertisers around the world at the dawn of the cable industry. And just continued to parlay because of the people that I met and saw and understood, and I learned business from them and taken shots from them, and just continued to parlay that entrepreneurial spirit of, look, we live in the greatest country of all, man. To be an entrepreneur here, there's not a chance in the world that I could have done or do what I do anywhere else in the world. And to continue to do what guys like us do. Just, it gives, my whole life is always predicated about hope and health and family. And everything that I do intersects with that. Every product I make, every program that I do. So whether it was, doing my fitness shows, or the sitcom that I did called Big Brother Jake on the Family Channel, Body by Jake on ESPN, a first run. I had a dream to create the first linear fitness television network called Fit TV, which I did, and sold it to Rupert Murdoch, and then launched the first on-demand fitness television network called Exercise TV. Got the infomercial business. I was very blessed there. Home shopping was a dream come true for me. I did 17 years on home shopping. I did 17 years. Sound like an inmate there. No, it was a great experience. It was a great experience, and giving back has been a big part of my life too. I was chair of the Fitness Council in California with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which was a great honor here. He's a neighbor of mine, and I did that with Arnold and then with Jerry Brown. And I've been now for the last 9 years chair of the National Foundation for Governors Fitness Councils, putting fitness centers in elementary and middle schools around this great country of ours. And we've done 36 states. This, as a matter of fact, this month we're installing fitness centers in Alabama, Indiana, Oklahoma, and Kentucky. Wow. And it's been awesome. An overweight kid with a bad stutter comes to LA, man, and hey, listen, what I'm telling you is this: everyone who's listening or watching, you can achieve anything you want in your life as long as you believe. If you have the passion, and as I tell people, no is halfway to yes. And if you live by that, man, if you live by that and you believe, you will absolutely achieve. And as especially right now during this pandemic, it's great to see. Before we went on, you showed me inside your gym. I'm so happy to see and hear the gym is open again, and people are starting to come back, and we will all come back. It's come back stronger and stronger. But during this pandemic, especially, you look at people over the age of 50, right, who are the most vulnerable, challenged, right, with their health. Exercise is so important. Nutrition, as you know, is the most important thing. And for the last couple of years, I've never been a big supplement guy. I've never been a big vitamin guy. Never took them. It's just one of those things. I always believe if you eat well, supplements and vitamins are expensive, and they're cumbersome. It's like you have to remember, what do you do? I got a lot going on. What am I supposed to take? There's so much information out there, Todd, that what happens, so much information shot at you all day long, it becomes white light and you get paralyzed. And when you're paralyzed, you do nothing. So I've been working for the last couple of years, coming up with, and interestingly enough, how perfect the timing is today during this pandemic, that we launch this new product called Don't Quit. It's our Daily Complete Nutrition Shake line. It's the first clean label, right? Here it is, right? I'm going to show you too. This is it. This is orangesicle, and this is chocolate. We have 4 flavors original flavors. Right there they are. How would you like to open the fridge in the morning, man, and see those 2 words, don't quit, man?
I love it.
No, I'm serious.
So this is your latest product to the market
Yes.
after dozens and dozens of products.
Well, I've been in the hard good fitness world where I've been in, and the infomercial business has been great to me. Look, I was the first guy to do personal fitness training and made it an occupation, and I did it for a short 8 years. I did it from 1980 to 1988. I woke up one morning and I said, you know what? I've got to continue to grow. And if I don't, then I just stay right here. Not that it was a bad or a good thing, but I had so much going on in my mind, and the people around me were kind of cheering me on to be more, to do more. That there was a lot more that I could be accomplishing. And that's the most important thing, Todd. And for me, listen, just a couple of quick anecdotal things, and I really want to talk about Don't Quit. Back in like 1984, 85, I wanted to create a union for personal fitness trainers.
Interesting.
Right? To where, if you think about it, you're one of the top guys in the world right now, right? There are 1.8 million certified personal trainers in our country, and probably another 2 or 3 million that are not certified, right? And it's tough to make a living. It's tough to make a living, and your families. I saw something early on. I wanted to create a union where I always knew that if you got paid $100, if you took 10 of those dollars and put it into a 401k or something like that, or have health insurance, or all these, and there were a sprinkling of personal trainers early in the beginning of time, and I try to meet with people, and they were all like, "What's in it for you, Jake?" And I said, "Well, listen, obviously there's something in it for me, but this is for all of us, so we can build something here together." So I'm always looking. I always want to figure out a way how, like I did with Fit TV, I wanted to create more stars, to give people platforms and opportunities.
And that was 1988.
That was 80, 85, 86, man. But the last time I actually trained somebody was in 1988, was the last time I actually did that.
So I had a couple of questions, because you just gave a history book. And folks, I hope you appreciate the history that Jake just gave us about literally, like, think about the fear of leaving home with knowing no one across the country and starting something, and your parents, I can hear it now, Herbie, get on the phone. I can hear that. But I've got a couple important questions. I do want to get to what you're doing now and Don't Quit and everything else, but there's a couple important questions. Number one, you went from a stuttering kid to now you talk about exercise TV and all the video and infomercials. How did you overcome that? How'd you overcome stuttering?
Well, listen, you never overcome it 100%, but I will tell you, I'm so thankful that my parents never listened to the principal of the school who said, "We're going to put your son in room 222, which was the room of all the kids who had challenges in their lives." I think if that moment would have happened that way, I obviously would not be sitting here talking to you. My mother and father just said, "You're gonna, he will be able to deal." And that's, you think about today, how with kids being medicated so much because of a little something. Look, there are a lot of challenges that we all go through, but I do believe that because of how my parents treated my situation, I am the guy I am today because of that. And I worked it out myself. I never sat with a speech therapist. I will tell you that when my daughter was born, man, when she turned 3 years old, she was chirping like you can't believe. It was the most exciting thing, having a child, man. Totally. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, I'll never forget it. I was taking her to preschool. She's in her car seat, and she started going, and I lost my mind. I mean, I started crying. And I went home. I told my wife, Tracy, I said, "Oh, my God, I hope, what did I do? Did I give my daughter, this is so debilitating. What?" And I literally, I called 3 different speech therapists. I'll never forget this one woman said, and I was hysterical. And I don't get hysterical, man. I do with my kids. But I was, Todd, I lost my mind. I was crying, too. And I said, "What did I do to my daughter?" What? Right. Slow down, Jake. Slow down. Let me ask you a couple of questions. So when you're with your daughter, do you ask her a lot of questions? And I said, yeah. She says, well, when people come to the house, do you always ask her like to say things and do things? I go, yeah. She says, do you ever give her a chance to like just speak on her own? I go, I don't think so. And she goes, okay, so your homework is to shut up for the next 3 weeks. And when you take her to preschool and when you pick her up from preschool, you're going to just say, you know, Daddy had a great day today. I saw my friends, and then be quiet and then let her speak. And I promise you in less than a month, she will be back on track. Todd, thankfully so it was. But I will tell you this, for me in my life, you know, every time I get on stage or, you know, I've been blessed to speak in front of 10,000. I did a one-man show in Las Vegas, man, a few years back. I had a dream to get up at the MGM Grand, the Hollywood Theater. I did a one-man show. It's on YouTube. You could probably check it out, man. It's called No Expectations. And I love challenging myself. I love pushing myself. The stutter comes back every now and again. It gets caught right here. The words get a little dicey. Yep. But I speak to kids who stutter. It's something that unless you have it, unless you have dealt with it, you don't have any idea. To not be able to communicate is unbelievable.
It's interesting that you say that the therapist asked you to almost allow your daughter to fail, because earlier on I was going to ask you about your parents when you were going through parents and what they have to go through. Parents today, many of them don't want to see their kids, quote, fail or lose a game. And it drives me nuts because this is where we grow. But possibly if you listen of what Jake's saying here, folks, is he was asked by his therapist to let his daughter make mistakes, let her take the pressure off her. It's the same thing as with athletics, whether it's lacrosse, football, you name the sport, you name the activity, drama. It's like, you get into that flow state. It's okay to make mistakes, kids. We want you to go out there and have effort, because so many kids now are paralyzed by they have to speak perfect or they have to have a perfect performance on the ball field. And I think that's a great point.
The thing. And Todd, you know what? And we could go. We could talk for 2 more hours on that. But you know, it's so important to let our kids fall down, let our kids fail, because if you don't, when they get to be adults, they're going to have a moment where they're not going to get the job, they're not going to get the girlfriend, they're not going to do well in a situation, and they're not going to know what that feeling is like.
Confidence comes back to that confidence. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's important. Look, we can sit here as 2 guys now. We have kids, and you know, we're not 20 years old anymore telling stories, brother.
Well, let's talk about now. Let's talk about now.
Yeah.
The now. Yep. At 62 now, what's your dream, Jake? You got Don't Quit. You've talked about belief, because belief from a kid. Now with your new company, Don't Quit, this whole belief is. And I know you're hitting a lot of genres, kids, adults, 50 plus. Like, talk about that. Talk about what you're after now.
That's what my life has been about, though, man. I told you about hope and health and family. And now, as we talked about Don't Quit, this is where we are, and these are the products. So it's you know, and I know everyone thinks, oh my gosh, you know, the world didn't need another nutrition shake. It just needs the best one. And I said, and I've never endorsed a product, that I've never sponsored a product. It's always been my company's. And with this and Don't Quit, this is something it took from, I trademarked those words in 1981. I teamed up with a company called LA Libations here in El Segundo, California. Keurig Dr. Pepper are our partners here. So we have gone out big. We launched August 24th, and you can go to don'tquit.com, but here's the great thing about it. It's the first clean label, Todd. No soy, no corn, no wheat, no added anythings, right? Gluten-free, it's kosher. The sugar that we have in there is pure cane sugar. None of the chemical stuff, man. We have 10 grams of protein, 26 vitamins and minerals. There's 14 grams of sugar in there in the original. Chocolate, vanilla, chai tea, and orangesicle are our 4 flavors. We have a max version, chocolate and vanilla, 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, right? So what's cool about that is, though, too, here's what's happening. When we were growing up, man, and I'd say to you, Todd, so how old's your pop? And you go, well, he's 62. Like, geez, that's an old guy. Wait a second, man. I'm 62. I feel like I'm 21. People got plenty of living left. You understand? People got plenty of living left. And I want you, when you open the fridge in the morning and you see these words right there, when you see those words, don't quit, what do those words mean to you? We could spend another 2 hours, and I'll ask you, Todd, give me a couple of don't quit moments in your life. Every one of your followers, the thousands of people, don't quit moments in your life. When you go to don'tquit.com, you're going to see we already have testimonials. This thing is, they're in supermarkets everywhere now. For the most part, Safeway, Albertsons, Vons, Ralph's, Kroger's. We're going to be in Walmart starting in November. But check it out at don'tquit.com. The great thing about it, too, it's different. As you know, I've been doing the protein shakes since I'm 13 years old, drinking the cement. Remember this? This stuff tastes like garbage.
Yep.
We have 26 vitamins and minerals. There's all the bad stuff not in it, and it tastes delicious. Because usually, if you're talking about something that's good for you, you got to do a little bit of like this.
It's got to taste good.
It tastes delicious. Good. It's convenient. It's affordable. And it's got everything in there. So if you're thinking about this, and by the way, the competition that we're playing in this world at this moment, and by the way, I hate to say it because I don't want people to feel that, wait a second, I'm 38 and I want to be hitting some don't quit because I want you to. But it was inspired because of so many people over the age of 45, 50 need their nutrients, man. They're not getting their nutrition. And you hit a don't quit 2 times a day between breakfast and lunch and between lunch and dinner. We already have all these terrific recipes. For instance, with our orange-sicle, man, you pop it in the blender with a banana, some dates, and some ice. Don't quit freeze. The best. Chocolate, some almond butter, and a banana and some ice. We just got a gal sent us with our actual vanilla. She made vanilla don't quit pancakes.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
I'm telling you, I guarantee you're going to love this stuff. And it's really what makes me proud is that, like anything else in life, I've got my mug on this thing, man. So, it's personal.
I like that.
We got stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit on there. So this is going to sit in your fridge. And when it's in your fridge, you're looking at those words.
You know what I love about this, Jake, is this is part of your DNA because you epitomize your life. Your life's work is from the time you were an overweight kid to getting cut on the 8th grade basketball team to who you are, the don't quit mantra. You said, by the way, in the mid 80s, you made a transition of moments of being a trainer to saying, I go next step. Guys, sometimes you see people now like Jake, and I've, quote, known you via TV for many years. You're like, oh, how do you get there? You don't realize the story behind people and the steps and the moments and the big decisions you have to make because of this mantra of like belief or just do it or don't quit, whatever that mantra is. And I love the fact that you're already thinking, man, like, listen, I'm young. I'm 62. I got a lot of living. And more importantly than that is I got a lot of impact to give back to the world. And I know that this product is going to help make people's lives better because of the wellness, because you've always been about that.
Amen.
Been about that.
Amen, brother. That's it. That's exactly. And that's it.
What is don't quit as far as, and maybe it is right now, it's the nutritional, product, but in your mind, in your vision, is don't quit. Are there workout products? Are there books? Or is it,
you're
hey,
a smart man. Oh, you're
a
smart man. No, listen, this is exactly where we're going. You know exactly where I'm going. Don't quit. You remember there was a book series called Chicken Soup for the Soul?
Come on, do I remember it? Absolutely.
Okay.
That's like the Bible,
all right.
Yeah.
So you think about, that's where I'm taking don't quit. We are amassing all of these incredible stories, people overcoming adversity. Think about this now more than ever since March to where we are right now. Families who are challenged, the stress and the anxiety people have. I want to continue to inspire on a daily basis, not just from me, but from people who are just like you and just like you and just like you, who have overcome adversity, how they deal. And there are going to be obviously many products that come from don't quit. Let me tell you something. I was all ready to say I had never used don't quit on a product, Todd. I had always said to myself, okay, I'll probably pass this on to my children. And this moment happened 2 years ago, almost 2 years to the day that this idea happened. And we now have launched Don't Quit, right? The first clean label nutrition shake that is not only great for you, but it tastes delicious. And that's what's going to keep you coming back.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I can't wait not only to taste it, but also to hear all that you have going on with the brand, because I love when there's aspirational aspects behind an already great product. And obviously, when it comes to training, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to mindset, y'all know listening in, that's what I stand for. And I didn't know all that that Jake was up to, folks. When I had the opportunity to talk with Jake on the podcast today, I wanted to pick his brain about the history. I want to know where he's at. And hey, what moves the juices? When you get into your 60s, man, what keeps you living? So you want to have the next 20, 30 years of great living and impact. So Jake, I really appreciate you sharing all that Don't Quit is about. Folks, check it out. I can't wait to check it out. And follow Jake and his path, because he's on a crusade now to go spread even more positivity and impact to the world. Hey, Jake, final question. I want to know Jake as the dad. If I was to talk to your kids, tell me about like how is it as a dad, and now with kids who are in their 20s and late teens. Yeah. What's it like as a father?
The best. That's first and foremost. Being a husband and being a dad, that supersedes everything. And I think I learned a lot of things from the people that I trained. I learned some incredible things, and I learned some things not to do.
Amen.
And I always said, to me, success is based on my family. And my kids love each other, and that is a super success. And that to me is the most important thing. We love each other. Family comes first. We check in every day. My daughter is in London right now. We FaceTime with her once every few days. My oldest son is living in New York City. He's actually home for a few weeks. We hadn't seen him since Christmas. His name is Nick. My daughter is Morgan. Zach is a junior at Michigan. He was rowing crew, won the national championship there last year. And my youngest guy, Luke, is at USC. He's a music producer now and doing great, but we check in. Luke is easy. I just take 15 minutes down the 10 freeway. I could be in his apartment, man. I don't know how much
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I do. I don't care. I don't care.
I love it.
But my kids are everything to me, and my wife Tracy, we're married going on. This will be 32 years, man.
Congratulations.
So, and that's the best. But
Jake,
thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, no, because as a dad, it's one of the questions that I get all the time. How do you balance out your entrepreneurial pursuits and be a father? And the other one is from an entrepreneur.
But you just said it. Hang on. Yeah. Family has to come first. Look, I left a lot of dough on the table, but I've been blessed for 20 lifetimes over, man. I never imagined, on that bus ride from upstate New York back to Baldwin, and in the apartment in Studio City, that I'd be sitting here in being able to accomplish what I was able to accomplish, continue to accomplish, because of the support of my wife. And thankfully, I met the greatest lady in the world, and she has had my back from the first day I met her. And that's super important too. That's what makes a great relationship, having each other's backs. And kids that, you talk to, you don't talk down to. I can never talk above them. I always talk to them. And it's what it is.
Final question. Your life has evolved. You talked about moments, these I call them lily pads, these moments where you've moved and hopped and continue to advance, and obviously setbacks and challenges, you overcome things like stuttering. If there was a trainer or a coach, heck, nowadays there's a lot of change going on in all people. Can you just give some motivation, inspiration, hope that if a trainer, you talked about evolving as a trainer in the mid 80s and where I call it divine purpose was leading you to, how do you take your current occupation, career, whether it be training, fitness, Group X, or even outside of fitness now, in today's interesting times that epitomize change? What's the mindset, that one should say of, hey, how do I become an influencer in fitness? How do I evolve to the next level and get Body by Jake success on that, right? What's the mindset?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I speak to, it's interesting, brother. I speak to a lot of people who reach out all the time asking that question. And there's a couple of things. One, remember this, you are a brand. You are a brand. And stay true to that brand. Stay true to who you are and your beliefs and your passion and personality. The reason why you became successful, Todd, is because I could see your energy. Obviously, you have great knowledge. Look, I'm pretty good with the body. I never went to school. I don't have a degree. I'm not a kinesiologist. I wasn't a doctor. My superpower, as I've said, is I have this ability to motivate you, to make you feel that you could do something more today than you were able to do yesterday. And that's what I've been able to give this world, man. And that's what makes me happy, and to make you feel better about you, man, it's the greatest thing in the world. And so the message is stay true to who you are. You're a brand, and it's about personality. Your personality is going to win the day. That's it. With all due respect, there's already a Body by Jake. There's already a Todd Durkin. You got to be you. You're that one in a million. And if you believe it, you will make that happen. Because the last thing you ever want to have happen in your life, I'm going to leave this on a good note, is you don't want to look in the mirror after this podcast today and say, okay, I'm ready to go. I have this dream. And then 5 years from now, you're looking in the mirror saying, when I was 25 or 30, I could have done that. Or I was 40 and I could have done that. The last thing you want to do is being 50 or 60 or 70, looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I had a shot and I didn't take the shot. Listen, I failed a bunch. Todd, I could go 2 more hours and tell you all the things that didn't work out for me. But that's the stuff. And I'm telling you right now, those are the things, those are the moments. They hurt, they cut, but those are the things that empower you, man, that make you stronger. Because getting punched in the nose it hurts. But you know what though? If you believe in what you're doing and you believe in what the mission is, you're getting up. You're getting up. And now you have a story to tell. That's what I try to teach my kids. What's your story? Tell a good story.
Yes. Huh? That's a great way to end, because I have a quote that says, live a life worth telling, a story about what's your story. And folks, you just heard the story of Jake, Body by Jake Steinfeld, and all he's doing. So Jake, man, I appreciate you and I thank you, because if it wasn't for you starting the field of personal training, I wouldn't be doing what I'm certainly doing. And the millions of other people who do what they do today need to know who Jake Steinfeld is, guys. So when you hear Body by Jake, you hear don't quit. You know the man behind it, that there's a message and a story behind this, a man who overcame a lot of adversity, who took chance, who took a belief and a dream to make it happen and did it. And he didn't quit. So Jake, man, where can folks find you, follow you, get more information on you? Best place?
Yeah, well, listen, just go check out don'tquit.com for sure, and official Body by Jake, man, on Instagram is what I'm trying my hardest on Instagram, man. It's
yeah.
Todd, I'm gonna take a page out of your book, brother. But
you're doing a great job.
Don'tquit.com, and here it is again, baby. Here it is again. There's our chocolate. Where is it, baby? Bang.
There you go.
Chocolate and orange. We got vanilla and chai tea. Your wife is gonna love the chai tea. My wife loves the chai tea. It's unbelievable, man.
Hey, I like hearing that.
Todd, you're terrific. Stick to the fight when your hardest hit is when things seem worse, that you must not quit. Don't quit, brother. I'm proud of you.
Folks, there you have it. Jake Steinfeld, thank you so much. Remember, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and never, ever quit. Don't quit, baby.